And joining us today, always great to welcome back Dick Hyman to the show. We've had him on several times before. Always great to chat with him right before the Jazz Festival because he'll be one of the headline concerts, actually wrapping up the festival on Saturday, March 1st at the Players Theater. He'll be doing a show with Ken Poplawski. We'll find out about that. But Dick, I know it's been a while since we at least chatted on the radio, so it's good to talk to you again. How have you been? You've been very busy, I understand.
Well, thank you. I've been reasonably busy and happy to do it. Been a pleasant year, I think.
Yeah, check your website, and you always have some gigs going, not only just in Florida. I know you go up to New York and other places. So
yeah, I occasionally still go to New York, although I'm pretty much a Floridian by now. But I'll be playing at the 92nd Street Y again in July, and I'm going up to play another earlier concert in memoriam to Matt Domber, the fellow who used to head Arbor's recording. He passed on this last year.
Right. I had a chance a couple of weeks ago to talk to Sandy Stewart, Dick, and they had a
Old
CD
friend.
out. And she sends her regards, and of course she and her son Bill Charlap did a CD, so we had a nice chat with her.
Yeah. Well, I know Sandy for a very long time, and I know Bill, of course, very long. Bill replaced me at the 92nd Street Y as the music director on that.
Right, yeah, she mentioned that because you did that for such a long time in New York, and a great series that they do every summer, right, for a couple of weeks.
That's right. 6 concerts in all. Well, 8 if you include a couple of extra little educational things.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Jazz Festival, and you're going to work with Ken Poplawski. You've done a lot of concerts with him over the years, right?
Well, he's an old associate, an old friend, and Ken and I have, in the last couple of years, discovered that we work very well on a company, just the two of us playing very contrapuntally and just picking up on each other, just as a duet. And we like to do that, and that's what we're going to do at on the March 1st at the Players.
And of course, people that haven't heard Ken, you're in for a great treat. Really been compared to Benny Goodman, that style of clarinet play. Of course, he has his own style, but been compared to him on an equal basis almost.
To me, it's not that he plays exactly like Benny at all. He has the command of the instrument that Benny had. He plays the instrument marvelously, and it's always a joy to be playing with him.
What makes his style so unique, in your opinion? Just the technique of it, or swing, or what?
He has that. He swings, of course. He can play technique beyond that anybody else, I think. He's a little more. He's a lot more current than Benny Goodman was, for example. He was playing swing music, and he did so wonderfully. Ken has been through the bebop period and through all the other developments up until recently. He plays a lot more on the clarinet, but they both are masters of the instrument.
I know last time we chatted about the festival, you'd worked with Derek Smith in a kind of piano duo. Any differences in a piano clarinet duo to put that show together, or similarities, or what do you do?
Yeah, there is. Actually, when you play piano and clarinet for a large portion of the time, the piano accompanies the clarinet. And with two pianos, it's more of two of a kind, matching each other. With a clarinet, every now and then the piano has to revert to an accompanying role. And sometimes I drop out altogether. And sometimes, of course, Ken does and leaves it as a piano solo. So it's a different game. There are two games in the way I look at it.
Almost like the clarinet would be a singer, and you're accompanying a singer.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be great to hear that. And I guess you've worked out your set list without giving too much away. I guess you play a lot of the standards people are going to recognize, right?
Well, we do not actually have a set list for this concert, but it'll probably be related to the album we've issued on Victoria Records. And we start out with Blue Room, for example. That's a standard.
Oh, sure.
And we do The World Is Waiting for the Sunrise, which is Benny Goodman's feature. And we get into some bebop things, and we do Panama, the old Dixieland standard. Ken and I are suited to each other in that respect. We both like various kinds of jazz, and we know how to get into those grooves.
Yeah, just as we talked before, and the people out there know you. You not only do the jazz, but I know you do a lot of the classical type of music. You do some sacred music as well in our area. I think you're doing a concert in Bradenton on March 9th, if I read your website correctly.
Well, that's true. That's true. I will be there. Yeah, that's piano solo. That's a different matter.
Yeah, that's the First Methodist Church in Bradenton. That's March the 9th. And you mentioned earlier you're going to go up to New York. I think you got a show up in Juilliard, right, in March as well. And
well, it's not that I'm going to be at Juilliard. No, they're playing some old arrangements of mine. I don't know what pianist is playing them, but I will not be there.
Mm-hmm. And then the end of March, Naples. So Naples, you're going to be doing a show at the Philharmonic.
Well, I'm going down to Naples for a show with the group that's known as the Naples Philharmonic Jazz Orchestra, and that'll be March 19th. And then I'll be in Delray Beach, also doing a couple of solo things there, at a place called the Arts Garage.
Well, that'd be great. Yeah, you're smart, Dick. You do all your winter shows in Florida.
I keep it that way. Believe me.
From what I see up in New York and the Midwest, you don't want to be doing those one-nighters up there.
I certainly don't. To some extent, more than I used to be, I can control my schedule that way.
Well, you did your share of those, I'm sure, back in the day, the one-nighters in the winter and in the cold weather, I'm sure, right?
I've been through that. I'd rather be in Florida.
The life of a musician is one of travel, and you still do a lot of that, but like you said, you can kind of pick and choose now, which is great.
That's about it.
What do you see, Dick, now is the kind of state of jazz? I mean, Sarasota's always been kind of a hotbed for it. Florida has a lot of great musicians just living in our area. Is it still pretty vibrant, or how do you see it right now?
Well, I think so. I mean, the Jazz Festival comes around every year, and the Jazz Club of Sarasota keeps on sponsoring and creating more events. And recently, the Jazz Club of Sarasota was one of the principal supporters of the Jazz Cruise, which Ken Poplowski and I did on the Holland American line. We just went around the Caribbean, and it was like a great floating jazz festival at sea. And the Sarasota Jazz Club had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, how was that? I did see that listed a while ago. Are those, for a musician I'm talking about, are those enjoyable? I guess you do, what, a couple of shows a night or one a night, or how does that work?
Sometimes during the day, maybe twice in a day, no more than that.
Yeah.
And a day off to side. It's not really hard work, but it's great fun. A lot of old friends and a lot of new people too that I've met on this last event.
Yeah, that's great. I got to do that one of these days. It sounds like fun to do. I'll check that out.
I think you would enjoy it. Next year, I believe it's January 25th. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to look that up. Maybe we can put something together with the station here as well to get a group going on that. And again, folks out there, you want to check out where Dick's going to be. Other than Sarasota, just go to dickhyman.com. And I know your CDs and music is available there as well. And I think you put a video series out. I think a couple of years ago we talked about it. Kind of a training course, I guess you'd say. Right?
I have got a big thing called the Century of Jazz Piano, and that's a history of jazz piano from the very beginning, talking and playing, and it's all been transcribed into a music book as well.
Great. Yeah, I know we did a chat about that, and just the history of jazz. You've kind of been almost the historian of jazz and jazz styles of piano playing. I know you do shows where you feature different styles of the I guess stride piano and all the different types of piano playing over the years.
Yeah, I've done that. I can fit into a lot of basic scenes.
Is stride piano the most difficult as far as physically, or what is the most difficult style?
The most difficult. Well, stride has some difficulties. I think boogie woogie is.
I was going to say boogie woogie would be one too. You have to move.
Boogie woogie is pretty difficult to keep it going and to keep the two hands different and to just play it as repetitively as it needs to be done.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. But I always look at the piano players, yourself and Judy Carmichael, and those folks who can do that so well. It's a physical type of piano playing. You have to be in good shape to do that.
Well, you have to practice. That's the secret. The secret of all kinds of music playing. You got to practice.
I know last time we talked, I asked you, and I think our audience would be interested again. How often or how many hours do you practice in a day or in a week still?
Well, a minimum of one, but if I have some event coming up or I need to learn a new piece, then it can go quite a bit on from that.
And here's a man who's been doing it and is one at the top of his field, and so you practice. You still got to practice, right?
Oh, you're darn right. That's the root of it all.
Yeah. Well, Dick Hyman, always good to chat with you again. You can see him as part of the Jazz Festival, Sarasota Jazz Festival, March the 1st. That wraps up the week. And I know Ken Paplowski is going to get the Satchmo Award, so that'll be a nice extra honor that night as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to see him get that.
At the Players Theater, 7:30 start. And, again, all the tickets available through the Players Theater box office. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And, Dick, always great to chat with you. We'll see you at the show. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.